January 24th, 2012, we were all woken up and called to the edge of hell. And that's all the information we had. The radio went quiet. One of the worst storms on records approaching, and we have no information.
Okay, just update. 58-foot vessel, possibly beached, in distress, 4 adult males on board. The captain contacted his wife via sat phone. She contacted the Coast Guard, and they are requesting assistance. The plan is it's about 150 miles from here. We're going to try to climb up over the top of the island and go direct. Anyone have any questions about what we're doing? Sure. Okay, as soon as they get the plane gassed up, we'll go.
One of the big challenges we have here in Alaska is we don't know what the weather is going to be. There isn't any reporting. So how much risk are we willing to take to save a human life?
We programmed in the flight director's straight line path to the last known position of the vessel in distress. And as we were getting closer and closer, we noticed the weather was quickly deteriorating over Shelikof Strait. The wind picked up, it was at 50 knots, and then we were seeing sustained winds 60 to 70 knots. At that point, we were able to establish radio communications with the vessel skipper.
Roger, roger. We're out to get off really banging hard. I don't know how long it's going to hold together here.
We were talking to them, and we fixed their position.
Still early on in the storm, and it's still growing. Currently it's 75, almost 90 knots.
Rest checklist complete, ready for 1. Trail line delivery to the survivors. Hey, if that trail line gets fouled up, you just let it go. Roger. There's a lot of snag hazards and really strong winds, so this is a high risk 100 evolution without a doubt. Paragraph tiger in sight. And trail line's going out the door. And begin hoist. Trail line's going down. Trail line's going down. Sailing way aft. Trail line's sailing way too far aft. Alright, abort the hoist. Abort the hoist. Okay. He's vomiting back here. Nice. Okay. And motor vessel Kimberly from the Coast Guard helicopter. We just made an attempt to get the trail line down. The wind is blowing way too hard for us to get that trail line down on deck. Okay. Are you in any condition to swim right now? I think we ought to at least try. Okay. And rescue briefing. Okay, we're going to try the same spot. Roger. And motor vessel Kimberly from the helicopter. We're going to try and get our swimmer down to the roof of the cabin. What he'll do is he'll take each of you one by one and hook you up to his drop. Okay, roger, roger. We're all ready here.
We came up with possibly delivering the rescue swimmer directly on the cable. Since he had weight, we could deliver him, hopefully try to deliver him straight down. Keep in mind, during this whole evolution, the wind's blowing and it's got to be about negative 30 degrees with the wind chill. My face was completely frozen and my hands were getting pretty numb. We were about 50 feet from the vessel and the helicopter was getting thrown around violently. Up and down, backwards and forwards.
Are you guys looking out the door? Yes, sir. I don't know if we can hold this stable enough to hoist.
I was about to go out the door, like, oh my gosh, you know. It's a toll on your body. I'm sure I was white as a ghost.
We're not going to be able to hold a good enough cover for this, sir. Yeah, it gets too much worse when we get down there near the boat. It's going to be all over the place, and he's going to be way at risk for that. Okay, abort that hoist. Yeah, roger, sir, aborting. You tell him that, I don't even know what to say. There's no way we can get these guys off this boat. Not without risking too much. Well, I mean, we can't even get a device to their boat physically. I mean, it's not even really a point of risk anymore. You know what I mean? And putting them in the water, I think, is a death sentence. Yeah, that's the game over. And Kimberly from the Coast Guard helicopter. Yeah, I got you. And Roger, skipper. At this time, there's nothing we can get out of the helicopter down to your vessel to get you guys off right now, and I'm just not comfortable asking you guys to get in the water. We're reaching bingo fuel for us, so we're going to have to head back to base. If you guys lose your generator, are you going to have any other source of heat on that boat? No, we don't. Yeah. Everything's out, stove's out, and the generator's going out. So, no, we don't. Coast Guard helicopter, Kimberly. And Kimberly Coast Guard helicopter. Yeah, she's ready to roll over here. She's ready to roll over. Captain Roger, understand vessel situation is deteriorating, and you believe the vessel may roll over. Captain, do you have a life raft? Roger, we do.
And as I was standing up in the operations center in Kodiak, Alaska, that was the last time we heard the captain's voice, and the helicopter crew was out of fuel and had to return home. And there's nothing worse than the feeling than coming home when we had to go out, but we couldn't save them.
Just saying. I feel beat up, you know, bummed out about it. I was about to put James out the door, man, and it was just.
Yeah. Well, you guys all look a little shook up, for sure.
I've never been that terrified before on a flight.
Anytime you walk in and you see the skipper there at 2 o'clock.
Thought about getting the helicopter out there just to stay above them. We did things go ahead.
If you're above 3,000 feet, you could orbit there and you'd be okay.
Yep, so why don't we do this? Why don't we orbit above and maybe the winds will die down and you can go in and pick them up.
Sure. Yeah. Let me get that going.
Okay.
This isn't my footage, but this is my story. I was in this briefing room behind the cameras when it was being recorded, getting ready to launch in the C130. And the words of Captain Dill, I couldn't repeat as good as he can. So I am reusing the footage that was shot by our Roker Production while they were there.
Our crews try to be as prepared as they possibly can, but you never really know everything. It was important to me to let them know exactly what I expected of them, and that was, I need you on scene, I need you to be there in case things get worse, but don't push it too hard.
Freezing night, the winds were picking up to blowing over 120 knots. The C-130 is just now rotating off the runway, and some of the strongest tailwinds we've ever had, pushing the C-130 to its extreme limits. As we were rotating, the second Mayday call happened.
Mayday, just east of Tannerhead.
This was going to be an all-hands-on-deck type evolution.
This is Coast Guard Sector Anchorage. Roger, Captain. You've lost engines at this time. We're on board your vessel as the water coming in. Over.
The water should be determined, please. Right now we are adrift. We have 20 degrees left.
While we're waiting for the 60 to launch, we're orbiting over the Kimberly, where we're hitting updrafts at excess of 3,500 feet. We can't find any survivors, but I'm seeing faint signs of light in the life raft. So we go to the Heritage, where we meet the 60 and find 2 survivors who've gotten separated from the main crew. When we're about 10 miles out from the 2 survivors in the water, I see their strobe lights blinking. I'm using my infrared camera from the C-130. From the C-130, we're orbiting overhead at about 500 feet. We have life rafts set up on the ramp just in case something were to go wrong. The swimmer's in the water and he's taking these swells and just getting churned up.
Right 5, survivor out of the water.
As they start deploying the swimmer for the second survivor, we start getting cleaned up to return to the Kimberly, where we want to find signs of life, because when we departed, there was nothing. We couldn't find anybody. As they were lowering the rescue swimmer out to rescue the second survivor from the Heritage, we departed scene to return to the Kimberly. After the sun came up back at the Kimberly, you could see what we were looking at that night. The life raft was barely visible on the infrared camera. The boat itself, you couldn't see at all with any type of visible camera. There was no signs of life that we could see from the aircraft. As we were orbiting around for over 2 hours, I would occasionally see a little puff of white smoke come out of the cabin. I don't know if the survivors were exhaling or if they were just moving, but it was the only glimmer of hope that I had that we were going to be able to find any form of life that night. As we eventually ended up running out of fuel and had to return to Kodiak that night, exhausted from the 2 cases, it's a night that you look back on and you reflect and you wonder if you were a survivor or were you a rescuer, or where do you blur that line of turning into a survivor? And this isn't hell, but it sure is getting close to the edge of it.
All I could say is that if it wasn't for the Coast Guard, we wouldn't have made it. We went ashore, started hitting rocks pretty hard on the bottom. And after that, we were getting bounced around pretty good. Swell would hit us that she would roll quite a bit. Then we did lean over and figured, oh, this don't look good. I don't know any other name you could call them besides heroes.